Just after lunch at Lincoln High, the hallways were full of noise and energy, teenagers laughing, footsteps echoing, lockers slamming shut. In the middle of all that chaos was Emily, a 14-year-old girl in a wheelchair. She moved quietly, focused on getting to class without drawing attention. But as she rolled forward, a group of boys came charging through the hallway, joking and shoving each other without a care. One of them, not even looking, slammed into her wheelchair. The chair tipped and then crashed to the floor. Emily hit the ground hard, her books flying everywhere like scattered leaves. The hallway didn't go quiet. It kept moving, but the noise changed. Whispers, soft laughs. A girl nearby gasped, but didn't move. A boy looked back, smirked, and kept walking. No one stepped in. Emily's face burned with embarrassment as she lay on the floor. Her hands shook as she tried to lift herself in the chair. She wasn't badly hurt, but something inside her broke. A quiet kind of break that happens when you realize the world might not stop to care. She looked around, searching for a kind face, someone to help. But people just kept walking. Her books stayed scattered. Her chair leaned at an angle she couldn't fix on her own. Tears filled her eyes, not from pain, but from the sharp, lonely feeling of being unseen when you need someone most. The hallway suddenly felt colder, meaner. She wasn't hoping for a hero, just someone, anyone. But no one came. Not yet. From the far end of the hallway, Ava stood frozen. She had seen it all, Emily's fall, the boys rushing past like she didn't exist, and the way no one had helped. Ava's hands curled into fists, her knuckles white around her backpack straps. The boys kept laughing like it was just another joke, just another day. But to Ava, it wasn't just another moment. It was the last straw. Ava knew what it felt like to be ignored, to be treated as less. She had grown up learning how to fight back quietly, with hard work, with determination, with grace. But this wasn't something she could ignore, not today. The sound of Emily trying to lift her chair echoed in Ava's mind, louder than all the hallway noise. Something deep inside her stirred, a strong fire built from every moment she had kept quiet. She wasn't scared anymore. What she felt wasn't anger. It was something more powerful. Purpose. Ava didn't run to Emily right away. She took a moment, steadied her breath, and chose how she would act. She wasn't just going to help someone up, she was going to stand up. For Emily, for others, for all the times people had looked away from what was wrong. She didn't have a plan, but she had something even stronger, a voice that wouldn't stay quiet. 30 minutes later, the gym was loud with bouncing basketballs, squeaking shoes, and students chatting without a care in the world. But Ava wasn't watching the game. Her eyes stayed fixed on them, the boys who had knocked Emily down, still laughing like nothing had happened. Ava's heart beat fast, not from fear, but from a deep sense of purpose. She stepped out to the center of the gym floor, right where everyone could see her. You think it's funny to knock down someone who can't defend themselves? Her voice was loud and steady. The room fell silent. A basketball rolled away, forgotten. Heads turned. The boys looked around, surprised. One of them shrugged and tried to brush it off with a laugh. Relax. It was just a joke. Ava stepped closer. Her voice didn't shake. That joke could have broken her arm, or her spirit. But you don't care, do you? Her words hit the room like a sudden clap of thunder. This wasn't just about Emily anymore. It was about every kid who had ever been pushed aside, laughed at, or ignored. It was about every moment when people stayed quiet and hoped someone else would speak up. A teacher nearby turned, face tight with concern. The silence deepened. No one laughed now, no one moved. Ava didn't yell, she didn't have to. Her courage spoke louder than any shout could. In that moment, she spoke for every student who had ever felt small, and for the ones who didn't know their strength yet. And the gym, once full of noise, listened. By the end of the day, something at Lincoln High had changed. The hallways, once filled with people walking past without noticing, now felt different. Emily no longer rolled to class alone. 2 girls from math class walked with her, one of them carrying her books without being asked. A boy from science, someone she'd never even talked to, left a tiny yellow flower on her desk with a sticky note that read, "You matter." Ava didn't do it for praise. She didn't brag or talk about it afterward. But the truth was her voice had opened something up. Her bravery had held up a mirror, and suddenly others were seeing things more clearly. Later that day, between classes, Ava was called to the principal's office. She walked in, not sure what was coming, but she wasn't scared. Principal Harris stood behind her desk, holding a paper Ava had written weeks earlier about justice. Her eyes were a little wet, her voice soft. "You reminded us what real courage looks like," she said. "Not just your classmates, but me too." Ava didn't know how to respond. She hadn't been looking for praise. But when she left that office, she felt a little taller, not because of what was said, but because she knew she had made a difference. Not everything had changed, but something important had. And sometimes that's enough. Sometimes one voice can give others permission to care. And that day, Ava's voice became a spark, and others began to stand up too. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the tall windows of Lincoln High, casting a warm light over the hallway that used to feel so cold. Emily moved forward slowly in her wheelchair, unsure of what the day would bring. But this time, it felt different. Heads didn't turn with pity or laughter. They turned with smiles. "Hey, Emily," someone called out with a grin. A group of students waved her over by the lockers. Another handed her a notebook she had dropped the day before. For the first time in a long while, she didn't feel invisible. She felt noticed. She felt safe. As she rolled down the hall, she caught Ava's eye from across the way. No words were needed. Their smiles said it all: gratitude, pride, understanding. That quiet moment between them spoke louder than any speech ever could. Ava had spoken up. Emily had found her place again. And the school had started to remember what kindness looked like. One voice, one choice to stand up. That's all it took to begin change. Sometimes just one voice is enough to turn a place of pain into a space of hope.